Sexy with Class Magazine presents Ask a Model Wednesdays with your host, Christopher Love.
So you had a photo shoot this past weekend. Can you let me know, you had two of them, right?
Not four.
Four?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, so you're a full-time model.
Yes, that is how I pay the bills, indefinitely.
So for the fans out there, this is Lana Lee, Hart, based in Texas. What city in Texas?
I'm in Bowie, America.
I do not know where that's at.
I'm about 80 miles from the DFW area. I'm exactly 85 miles from downtown Dallas. A little town out in the country.
Wow. AKA Tattoo Mommy. When did you come up with that name?
Well, look, when I started having children and getting tattooed, but I didn't get it tattooed on me. Like, I was a young mother, and I started getting tattoos at age 18 right off the bat. So, like, it just went hand in hand with me. I got the test piece tattoo in 2013. So I just kind of started the brand around my chest piece with that.
Okay, cool. So I guess it's gonna lead me to this question. So when did you start getting to modeling? What led you to start, taking photography to the next level?
Well, that's the thing. My very first beauty pageant was at the ripe age of 3 years old. My father entered me into several beauty pageants. He told me since I was a little girl that he always knew he was going to have beautiful children. It's just it's hereditary, it's in our genes. It's meant for greatness, he said. So he started doing the beauty pageant thing with me, and it took off, and I just started winning. And so almost all the beauty pageants that he put me in from the age of 3 years old, I always have, and I do still to this day, have trophies and ribbons for Miss Photogenic. There was just something that came natural from a baby, he said, that even in my infant pictures, I was posing. Like, I came out posing, literally. And so my dad just seen a natural talent in me, and he wanted to kind of help me push that, and he did. All into my teen years, I did beauty pageants. There was something different about me because I was raised by a man. I did not have any women figures in my life. I grew up with no mother. So I didn't know what it was like to be feminine as I wanted to. I wasn't like the other girls. I didn't get to wear makeup and have my hair dyed at a young age and wear the big poofy dresses. So I kind of went in there with my natural look.
Oh, okay.
And that got me really far. And I was surprised. I was shocked because my dad didn't get me into like wearing the fake teeth and all the big curls. And he just kind of threw me in there, and it kind of took off. So into my teen years, I did that. I was a homeschooled child, so I had a little bit more time on my hands than most children did to process all of the beauty pageant stuff and to travel as well. My schedule was workable. And so when I got a teenager, about, 12, 13 years old, I did a couple photo shoots in Richardson, Texas, and I got accepted in on a scholarship to Barbizon Modeling College, where then they taught me not only how to do a lot of the posings, but they taught me a lot about marketing, a lot of advertising, even took some acting lessons. But my thing at the time was runway, because they seen legs, and I was tall and skinny. So that's what they wanted me. And so they really pushed me for runway a lot, and I did that. After I was about 15 years old and started learning what boys were, and I kind of grew out of the beauty pageant scene and into horseback riding. So when I started doing my rodeos and training horses and working with my horses and barrel racing, I kind of came into more of a rodeo queen status, if you will. On the back, dressing up and showing horses in the nice Western attire and getting all blinged out. So it was kind of like a beauty pageant, but with my horses. And after that, I went on into getting married at a very young age, and it just all kind of dwindled away. I ended up getting married, meeting a tattoo artist, opening up a tattoo studio. You know, we had children. And then after my divorce and after all my children were done had, kind of jumped many years at the age of 24. After I had my third child, a friend of mine had got a camera, a local girlfriend of mine, and she was like, hey, you would be down to like letting me test out my camera on you. And I was like, oh girl, I haven't done a photo shoot since I was a teenager, but you know, I'll try. What the heck, for old time's sake. So it was about 6 months after having my son in 2012. I went and did this photo shoot at the lake, and the pictures, we went from MySpace to Facebook, and so then the pictures were posted. They kind of went viral. Some DFW photographers that I actually still work with to this day, they seen a few of the pictures and was like, wow. And, you know, with the tattoos and the way that it wasn't even the best of the best, you know, at that time. I just had my 3 kids. My body wasn't all that I wanted it to be. I was a little more insecure with myself, but I was like, oh, go for it. And as soon as the pictures went viral and everybody wanted to start working with me, I was like, you know what? It's really hard for me to get a 9-to-5 job as an everyday normal person with 21 tattoos on my face. How can I incorporate all these tattoos and my love of art on my skin with my artistic skills that came naturally from my beauty? And so I took that and I ran with it, and I made a hustle for myself by selling my looks and being artistic, and I put it all together, and here I am today.
Cool.
Self-made, all of it, every bit of it.
I'm definitely interested. You deal with adversity a lot.
That is that story in a nutshell.
Yeah, I want to ask you this because I know you deal with adversity a lot with your, you know, haters and people reporting you. You know, how do you stay motivated when, you know, people are...
Hello?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I was just wondering. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Apologize.
Okay.
Yeah, I hit mute by accident. But anyway, my question was like, you know, I was wondering how you deal with adversity because, you know, I see a lot of people always reporting your photos and stuff like that. How do you stay motivated, you know, to keep, you know, make sure your fans able to see your art?
As far, I mean, okay, let's break this in a little bit. As far as how do I...
Like you post a photo, and next thing you know, someone is trying to report it to Facebook, and it's in Facebook standards. But I know I know Facebook really doesn't do no investigation to see if it is a standard. You know, they just go ahead and block you because I deal with it also, like being put in Facebook jail. I was just wondering, like, how do you stay motivated when you know, like, there's people out there, you know, hate on your craft, your art, you know, when you provide photos for your fans using via Facebook? Facebook's just one source, and yes, it is one of the largest sources for my advertising for the pictures. I don't tone it down because I'll get reported and I'll come back with a vengeance and try to cross their line just a little bit harder. Really, I just stopped caring so much. I stopped giving a fuck what people thought was bad, because what I see as an artist is a beautiful piece of art and a beautiful image. You know, I'm a very open-minded, not a conservative person whatsoever. I grew up in California where nude beaches is a thing. You know, I went to nudist camps as a child. I'm used to, like, you know, I'm really not ashamed of my body, and I don't think anybody should be. I'm a very confident person, so I really just stopped caring about what the haters thought. I don't let that get to me. I can't. And how I stay motivated as an artist is them. They motivate me. The Facebook, every time they kick me off, they motivate me to go harder. Let's see what else I can get away with. Because, I mean, yeah, I'm going to be back in 30 days anyways. And anytime you get kicked off, what's 30 days? Yeah, it messes with my money a little bit, but I can always go to another social media site
and bounce over there and be like, hey, so if they really they're really my fans and they really contribute as far as financial reasons to my work, they'll follow me wherever I go. And that's how it's worked. But really, as far as Facebook and the haters concerned, that motivates me just to do it, to up it that much more, because every time somebody complains, I'm going to come back. If you tell me not to do something, I'm going to do it. But it's going to be 10 times worse than what you told me not to do in the first place. And that's what motivates me. That's my mentality. I really just don't give a fuck.
Sounds good. Definitely motivating for other models out there to stay focused on their craft, because once you start being successful, people are gonna attack you what you love and passionate about.
Absolutely, but that's the whole thing with being secure. If you're secure enough in your body and your physicality to be able to step out of your comfort zone and do what you do like that, then you should be secure enough with yourself mentally and emotionally. I am a very secure mentally, emotionally person. Like, I don't care what anybody thinks. If you're not paying my bills, or you're not contributing financially, or you're not my child or my significant other, it really does not matter to me. So it's just irrelevant. And you've got to learn how to shake that up. As an artist, no matter what you do, there's always going to be people out there with an opinion, and it's probably going to be more negative than positive, because nobody likes to see anybody else succeed these days. That is just in the type of world we live in, and it is fucking sad, but it's the truth.
Well, let me ask you this. As a model, in today's time, anybody can buy a camera, Walmart, via Amazon, whatever. How, as a model, do you vet and see if a photographer is good and a photographer is safe? Because I know, like I said, anybody can buy a camera. How do you go along and pick a photographer to make sure that, one, when you go on set, it's safe, and two, he has actually a good portfolio? How do you go about vetting photographers?
I know, for me personally, I don't know how a lot of the other models go about doing it, but for me personally, I have worked with the public eye, like even running a tattoo studio with my ex-husband, working with people on the daily. I'm a pretty good, I don't like to say judgment of character, because I hate the word judgment, but I get good vibes or I get bad vibes, and I'm a very intellectual person. So if I'm just merely having a conversation with you through text message, it's keywords, what you say, how you say it, how you present yourself to me in a business manner. It's a lot of little things like that are going to let you know right off the bat as just a person to a person. Now, when it gets down to wanting to see their work, I'll ask them if they have a portfolio, ask them to see their work. When we go into discussing booking and scheduling, if I like their work, how many times have you been published? Where have you been published? Is it TFP or is it paid for? Are we doing magazine submissions? And not just any magazine gets my attention these days. In the beginning, yeah, it's fun because you've got to get that built up for yourself. But now it's, you want a magazine with some girth behind it. That's the word I'm looking for right now, excuse me. But anyways, just main thing, referrals. Do they have a number of other girls or just shoot a couple names? Hey, who are these other models you've worked with? I'll scroll through their timeline on Facebook. If I see that they tagged another model in her picture, I'll shoot that other model a message. Hey, how was your experience with him? Did he make you comfortable? Was he uncomfortable? Do I need to bring a gun or do I need to leave it at home? It's really common sense. Like, you don't just leave your child at a daycare without doing research for these people to watch your children, right? Yeah. Why would you put yourself in that predicament, especially when it comes to removing your clothing behind closed doors and a camera involved?
Cool.
So it's always research, always, and common sense research, as in just don't put yourself in a bad predicament. And as far as the quality of the work, if you're an artistic individual, you'll be able to tell. There's just some things you can't describe. If you're not an artist and you do not have an artistic mindset, I cannot describe to you what a good image really is, because everybody has their own their own opinion of what a good image is. There's so many different. Me personally, I like certain angles. I like certain editing. I like for my face to look a certain way. I like my eyes to pop. That's just me personally. Every model's different. Some models want their gut and stretch marks taken away. Me, I really don't give a fuck. I like me the way I am. So I'm like, you don't have to touch it so much, you know? Everyone to each their own. But there are just some strategic guidelines that really, being common sense, will let you know which way to go.
Awesome. That sounds good. Very informative. And anyone that's out there, Lana Lee know what she's talking about. I want to ask you this. What type of legacy that you want to leave in the modeling industry? You know, what would be your footprint in this genre of, you know, modeling?
That as a tattooed female, we always get put into a placement of hardcore, or people look at us and like, oh, you've got tattoos, you've got to be in a dominatrix fetish shoot, or you've got to be in this hardcore grunge shoot, or you've got tattoos, you're gangster. No, I can have tattoos and still throw on a $7,000 evening gown and walk down a very nice runway with very reputable people in very nice, expensive clothing. I want to leave a legacy that as a tattooed individual, you can go any way. You can be so diverse. I want women to know that no matter whether you're tattooed or not, I don't like the fact that I can't get on a Victoria's Secret runway in Milan. I mean, there are some beautiful wardrobes and lingerie sets made by Victoria's Secret that I rock. My body style rocks. I can't model for Victoria's Secret. Why? Because I have tattoos on my face. I want that to be different. I want to be able to wear lingerie and walk a Victoria's Secret runway and have a tattoo. And but that's just me personally. It's really, I want to break the barriers when it comes to alternative modeling, because I can be just as classy and elegant as the fucking prince or the queen sitting in that other country getting her pictures made in her throne. I can play that part. It's really, you got to bring out your acting skills. That's where the artistic mindsets and the juices get to rolling. But really, for the whole modeling situation, just a lot of confidence. I want to prove to women, even after 3 children, I'm not in the best shape of my life, but it's all confidence in your head. You know, I want to be able to show these women and these girls to stop looking in the mirror so much. Get the fuck out of the mirror. Stop looking at your body and do what your heart tells you. If you want to wear a fucking evening gown or a wedding dress in a cosmopolitan magazine with 23 tattoos on your face, and do it. Well, if you don't want to have any tattoos and you want to rock that hardcore grunge look, do it. There shouldn't be any rules when it comes to art. And as a model, I feel I am first and foremost an artist. I shouldn't have to abide by rules when it comes to an image.
That definitely be cool if Victoria's Secret did allow alternative models to. That's a whole industry in itself, because there's a lot of females, ladies that have beautiful tattoos.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, they allow people at the Victoria's Secret fashion show to sing with tattoos. Why can't the models have tattoos? They allow the others on stage, you know, but it's just in Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger, a lot of these high fashion, high end. I want to see women walking for Kanye West and Kim K and their lines overseas full of tattoos. None of them people on runway have tats. Why? They don't feel like right now, I guess it's not a thing. I want to make it a thing. That's a lot of what I want to do.
Well, you keep pushing, keep providing your visuals, which are very beautiful. I love them. I've been following you several years. I was amazed. What did it for me was the Bob Marley tattoo. I believe it was on your right thigh. I could be wrong, but
yes. No. Yes, Mr. Billy Taylor over in East Dallas. He did that for me a couple years ago, and this was just a piece where I've always wanted a portrait of, and Billy had drew this up, and he was just like, we were going to put it in a tattoo convention, and win some prizes, and it was different, and I'm different. I wasn't being too picky about it, and like I said, I grew up in a state where marijuana was legal, so I'm not anti any of it. And I love Bob Marley, everything he stood for. He's a good man. It's just a lot that goes into this tattoo, but that is one of my favorite pieces.
That's
because
cool.
it just means something.
So how many times have you been published as a model in a magazine?
As of this day today, the last time that I counted, it was over 62 times. And that's not only print. I've got a box of magazines at my house right now that I'm in, that my little girls can go down to my bookshelf and pull a magazine off and see Mom, my name, but my married name and my maiden name. And that's really in the beginning when I started all of this. I said, if I walk away from this only being in one magazine where my baby girl can walk down to a bookshelf and pull it out and say, that's my mom, she did it. She has all these tattoos on her face, but she got into a fashion magazine. And they do. And that's my goal, because that was the goal that I set for myself in the beginning. I did it for them, because no matter what they look like when they get older, I don't want them to think that they are not to just reach their dream. And I did that because I want them to show that was Mommy's dream, to always be on the cover of a magazine. And I grew up and I did it, regardless of the obstacles of my outer appearance.
Wow.
I went through it.
That's very powerful, because that's a physical, tangible object where they can share it with their friends. They
they take it
when they get of age. Yeah, that's cool.
Right, their friends come over and they do. They're very proud of it, and I'm proud that they're proud, because I want them to know that anything they set their minds to can be done. So now I'm probably about 65, 66 publishing into it later, and I don't care if it's an online magazine or if I've got it in my hand. I'm there. That it counts to me, because I worked hard for it, and I did it.
And are you planning on doing like photo shoots outside of the state of Texas, or you just keeping it local for right now?
Oh, I've actually, a lot of my photo shoots have been outside of Texas. I've been published in magazines in Colorado, Louisiana, Inked Angels magazine. I'm an Inked Angels original, and they're out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I drive in and work with them a lot. Oklahoma. I'm very open. I've just, as in today, I'm actually just got sent. I've never flown. I've always drove everywhere. My whole life, my father, ex-military, always traveling. I've never been in an airplane. And I got an offer to get paid to fly me out to Chicago. So I'm excited about it. I'm actually like, okay, like I'm going to jump on this plane and I'm going to do this. I'm going to conquer some fears, but also some goals. So like more people are just wanting work from me, but they're wanting it done faster. So I'm like, I'm going to have to get on a plane and fly out for the weekend. And so, absolutely, I'm Chicago, New York, California, Florida. And that's just in the last 3 days that I've gotten offers from. So it's not stopping in Texas. I say I am a Texas tattooed mommy because this is where I was born. I was not raised here. I was raised all over. I traveled. I was Vegas, California, Colorado, Wyoming. My father, if it didn't have wheels under it, I didn't live in it. And I was homeschooled, so I was able to experience so much more than a lot of other people got to growing up. And I'm very fortunate and blessed for that. We were not rich, but we had each other, and we were on the road, and we traveled, and the experiences is priceless to me. And growing up like that really made me appreciate just like being in one spot for a while, I guess. So I like to keep my ground and my roots in Texas, just because this is where I was born, where my family is.
Well, by your experiences, by you and your dad able to travel, see that's value right there. You don't necessarily need money to enjoy life and spending time with your dad. That's great. A lot of young ladies don't have the opportunity to have a father in their life, and yet you was able to have a father. So that's good.
Yeah. Oh, my dad is my best friend. He's been a single father since day one. When I was 1.5 years old, my mother left him in California with 2 infants, and he did it as a retired military man with some disabilities, and he has, back problems. He was a mechanic, and he had a car fall on top of him when he was 28 years old, and he was never physically able to really do a lot, but he did it. He raised us alone, even as a disabled man, and I have so much respect for that man. He's my best friend. We may not always see eye to eye, but he's the only man who's ever stuck around for anything in my life, and I love it. I am very fortunate for that.
Wow, beautiful story. Well, y'all, this is Lana Lee Hart, based out of Texas. Can you provide us with your social media where your fans can find you, and also maybe an email address or website where future photographers can book you?
Absolutely. www.lanaleeinc.com. That is a domain that I use right now. That's for my Instagram, just because right now, while my other websites are all under construction, it's easier to just go and book me through there, and I don't ever get blocked off Instagram, so I'm pretty safe right there. Of course, Facebook, I've got 2 accounts under Lana Lee Hart. And then I've got Snapchat. It's LANALEEW13. My Twitter, Lana Lee Hart 13. Email, LanaLeeW13 @gmail.com. And then I've got Fame Monkey, Lana Lee. I mean, really, you just put in Lana Lee Hart or Lana Lee Wright on Google, it'll take you everywhere. So I'm in it to win it.
Well, I thank you for having this interview with me. I look forward to seeing more of your work, and having safe travels and going to Chicago for your new adventure. And I'm just proud of you. I'm happy that I'm able to talk with you. Like I said, I've been a fan for years now.
Well, I appreciate that so much. Thank you for this opportunity.